Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Stay Connected webinar to talk about our Prestige proposition. The presentation we have prepared for you today, we expect to take no longer than 30 minutes. It will be interactive and there'll be some opportunities for you to ask some questions at the end. Your contribution is important to us, so please don't be shy. The talking points that we'll be chatting around today will be around vehicle security, the economic impact on the prestige market, what impacts a high net worth motor claim, and benefits of an online trading, to name but a few. Before we start, I just have a few notes of housekeeping, if I may. If you could close down any apps that you have running in the background just to help us with the bandwidth, because we've got a fair amount of people on today, that would be really useful. If you do have any questions as we go, if you do pop them into the questions into the chat function on the right hand side of your screen, we'll sweep those up at the end, and there will be a little time at the end for us to have a Q&A. Next slide, please, Claire. Okay, for those that don't know me, my name's Pauline Palmer. I'm one of 6 regional development managers across the UK here at ERS. I look after the Midlands and West region. I'm joined today by Sam Prever and Mark Suffield, who are 2 of our experienced regional trading underwriters, who will be walking through the slide deck that we've prepared for you. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Mark.
Hi everyone. So just going to quickly go through some of the kind of impacts that we're feeling on the prestige market. I appreciate a lot of people will be aware of these, but it's just to kind of call out from our side as the insurer what we're seeing, challenges that we face, but also kind of challenges that we kind of see in the market wider and in the kind of broker space as well. So the first one to touch on is the kind of the instability in the market. We've got a mixture of things that have been happening over the last few years. So we're looking at capacity in general has reduced. So most recently RSA have pulled out of the personal motor market, but then you can also look around and you can see the impact that Conveyor had. They had a kind of a prestige setup as well, so they pulled out of the market last year. Home and Legacy have also kind of pulled out of the market, so we're kind of seeing that the capacity levels for brokers to place business is reducing. Combined with that, you've also got consolidation, so Oak Underwriting kind of integrated into ZPC. And again, recently we've had Azure into Aviva Private Clients. So for brokers, it's where you can place prestige risks in the traditional high net worth markets is definitely reducing. But what we want to say is we're consistent. We make sure that we're pricing correctly now, so that we don't have these issues, and we're sensible with our underwriting. We're prudent underwriting. So it's just really highlighting the importance of what we do. We are motor specialists, and we are a constant in the market. We've been around for a long time. We're a Lloyd's syndicate, so it's to give you guys some confidence about what we do. Other impacts that we've got that we're noticing is kind of a change in distribution channels. So we will also start noticing now, whilst the traditional capacity has been changing, there is a change that you can now get prestige quotes via aggregators and things like that, so not necessarily via a broker-led route. But we are also noticing a change with how brokers are interacting with insurers. So more kind of e-trade platforms, which is what we will touch on ours later. But it's just we've noticed that kind of change on how kind of risks are being brokered into us, or how clients are ultimately sourcing these quotes for their prestige vehicles. Vehicle availability, this touches on just again challenges that we can see. So the semiconductor chip shortage really delayed not a lot of new vehicles being delivered. And then you've also got the change in the value of the second-hand car market. So where you had kind of pretty standard depreciation curves, those aren't as, from a historical point of view, now second-hand vehicles are holding their value or even increasing. So again, it's just a change to us that we need to be aware of. If you've got elements of our policy like new car replacement, it's how easy it is to replace those vehicles. So that's just something we've noticed. And again, claims inflation, I'm pretty sure everybody is extremely aware of this. And we have done a kind of previous session purely looking at the claims inflation. But this is a major driver. It's a hardening market with the capacity reducing and the claims inflation, which is driving rate into the market. So we need to stay in front of this. But some examples of claims inflation, we've seen a 14% increase on kind of parts, so the cost of parts. A 9% increase on repair costs in general for when we go to our approved repairer. So these are quite significant numbers, but you combine that with a shortage of labour. So that means the hire car costs have increased. I think it was 10%. but with the shortage of labour, it means the repair time is taking longer. So we're also getting an increased, how long someone is in that hire car for. So there's just huge kind of changes that we need to be aware of, and that's why you are seeing that our rates are increasing and everyone's rates are having to increase, because this is it's a real challenge. We had baked in that we thought this might start kind of tailing off, but we haven't seen any reduction in the kind of claims inflation, unfortunately. And final point, just quickly touch on, is just a change in the general market. So electric vehicle is increasing. We need to, as an insurer, consider the driving styles different. So how does that affect us? You'll see a lot more claims in year one of someone having a electric vehicle just because of how it drives and the kind of power, how it comes through. We are also looking at what does that mean for our policy. So we've built in things like liability for charging cables, because they can be, people could trip on those, and costs of it if we have to replace those. So those are just some general impacts that we've noticed, but I'll pass over to Sam now to talk more about our product.
Sorry, Sam, hold on, we can't hear you. Just trying to sort out your microphone.
Should be able to hear me now.
Yeah, can you start
try
again?
We'll try
Thank
again.
you.
Sorry, guys, technical issues. If it's not Teams, it's GoTo, but here we are. I'll start again. So, before I go through the products offered within our Prestige offering, thought I'd mention that all of our risks are manually underwritten. So, any case that you send through to us, and we'll cover off the ways that you can trade with us, that will come through to an underwriter, and that will be looked at personally each and every case that you send through. Something else to mention on here as well, we've got our ERS e-trade product. This is the quickest and most efficient way to trade with us at the moment. We'll cover that off in a bit more information shortly, but it's worth mentioning that is the best way to trade with us. So if you haven't got information on that, we can arrange that for you. So the main products offered within Prestige are our supercar collections and sports entertainment products. We also offer an overseas product, which I'll cover some more information of in a second. First of all, it's supercar. So this product covers supercars, hypercars, and luxury cars. Also covers premium and prestige electric vehicles. Our minimum vehicle value for this particular scheme is £75,000. So as long as you've got a vehicle that fits that particular value and all the other risk factors sort of tie in with that, that will be well within our appetite. Moving on to collections, if you've got a vehicle that fits appetite on its own, perhaps within that supercar offering, we can then look at sort of additional vehicles on there. So that might be a high net worth family fleet, a large collection, perhaps a smaller personal collection. For us, the sort of more vehicles and drivers that's preferred. We have no sort of upper value limit, no upper sort of limit with the amount of vehicles on a policy. We're really hungry to write sort of these larger collections and specialist risks. So again, pose that sort of challenge to us. Again, there's that minimum lead vehicle value of £75,000. So that will be at least a vehicle that would fit appetite for supercar in itself. And then you've also got our sports and entertainment product that drops the minimum vehicle value, and that is focusing on the client's occupation. So that'll be clients within sort of the sports entertainment industry. It may be somebody in the limelight, for example, a famous footballer, an actor, an actress, but that also might be people behind the scenes who perhaps sort of find it more challenging to get insurance online. So it might be a TV producer, a runner, anyone within that industry. We do have an appetite to write. So again, send those risks over to us and pose us with the challenge. And then finally, we've got our overseas product that focuses on high-end vehicles being brought into the UK from overseas on a short-term basis. It's 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months policies, and a minimum vehicle value for that is 50,000. It's worth just touching very quickly on the risk that sort of pose a bit more of a challenge to us. Range Rovers will continue to be a challenge in the market, unfortunately. We haven't got an appetite for sort of single vehicle Range Rover risks, so we may look at those as part of a collection where another vehicle or two would fit appetite, but we're not sort of massively keen on writing those and won't write them standalone. Same with Bentley Bentegas. They pose a challenge for theft at the moment as well, so they're sort of two challenging vehicles. And again, it's worth mentioning that sort of road part vehicles aren't massively an appetite for us. we may sort of cover as part of a 10 vehicle fleet, or let's say if there's a lower value vehicle in there that is parked in London occasionally, we can look to cater for that. But generally, we're looking for sort of vehicles that are parked securely, out the way of harm or at risk of theft. And sort of, as I say, we could be a little bit more flexible when it comes to collections, but sort of those main high-end vehicles we're looking to be parked securely. Next slide, please. So why ERS Prestige? And this is a question we get asked quite often, and actually I quite enjoy this because it sort of allows us to give a bit of an overview of sort of what ERS, background of ERS, what we do, what we specialise in. So first of all, if you're not already aware, ERS is an A+ rated insurer at Lloyd's. That means that we're an insurer that you can rely on. We're not sort of we haven't got offshore capacity where we might come in and out the market. We're not an MGA relying on different capacities. We are an insurer based in Lloyd's, been around for sort of 75 odd years, and we're here to cater for you and your clients, and you can rely on us. As you may know already, we're a motor-only insurer. We specialise in motor. We're motor specialists. That allows us to then offer sort of tailored, efficient solutions for you and your clients. It makes us enables us to be a bit more creative, let's say. So if you've got something that's a bit out of the ordinary, we're not the kind of insurer that looks to shy away from that. Naturally, we've got sort of the kinds of things that are must-haves for us. But what we say is, again, if you've got a challenging risk or a risk where the client needs something that's out of the ordinary, may not even be something that's covered to standard in our policy wording, we ask you to pose us with that challenge, and we'll look to work with you to place that. What makes up part of ERS Prestige as well as our dedicated Prestige underwriting team, as well as our dedicated Prestige claims team. I'll cover a bit more information about the claims team in a second, but I'll also give you a snapshot shortly of what our team looks like and how that's made up. Next slide, please. So a quick snapshot of what makes our Prestige claims service. So we're quite proud of this. It's something that we set up sort of shortly after incorporated the department. It is the most important part, let's be honest. We're here to insure vehicles, and if the worst were to happen, we need to be here to react and react accordingly. So first of all, either yourself or as brokers or the client will have fast, efficient access to a dedicated Prestige claims handler. That would mean that we offer sort of regular check-ins throughout the claims process, again, with either yourselves or the client, or might be someone in the family office that they've sort of appointed to take care of the claim. And service is at the forefront of this, really. So we need to be sure that you and the client are aware of what's going on throughout the whole claims process. We're proud of our nationwide repair network. We and they use genuine OEM parts. It's important that sort of those parts are used to sort of keep the vehicle warranty and so on. That's something that's quite important. So we ensure that our repair network is set up to do so. We've also employed some Prestige engineers. They provide expert repair knowledge. They can sort of go out to accidents or to car storage places where vehicles are, look to review the car, the condition of the car very quickly, and that enables us to sign off claims quicker and more efficiently. It's also worth mentioning that ERS is rated as excellent on Trustpilot, so this is a reflection of the claim service that we offer and the experience that our clients have had as a result of that. Next slide, please. This is quite an important slide. It sort of gives some key examples or snapshots of sort of the kinds of the main things or sort of big impacts that they'll be had on a high net worth motor claim. So the first to mention here are sort of body kits and vinyl wraps. For example, if a client is coming to you and saying, I've got a Range Rover, I've got a Bentley Bentayga, two sort of prime examples there, but these are vehicles that are often sort of modified with body kits. It might be from Urban, it might be from Overfinch, and they're also commonly wrapped. Again, this could be the case across all vehicles, but those are sort of common vehicles that we find have these modifications. An Urban body kit can sort of cost £15,000 to £20,000 to replace the whole body kit. So it's a prime example of why it's so important to get that information up front, because things like this can really have an effect on sort of the cost of the claim or the acceptability of a claim. It might make the vehicle more susceptible to theft, to vandalism, to theft of parts. So it's really important to get that kind of information from the beginning. Windscreens have a massive effect on claims cost. I mean, Just more recently, we had a Rolls-Royce Cullinan needed to come in for a replacement windscreen. I mean, let's be honest, it can happen to any vehicle at any time. The cost of a Rolls-Royce Cullinan windscreen is £15,000. So whereas you might have a windscreen replaced on a standard car, a Ford Fiesta, for example, or even something that's more common in the prestige world, I don't know, a Bentley Continental GT, it could be between 5 and 10 times more expensive to replace the windscreen on a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, for example. So that's something to bear in mind when we're sort of rating policies and validating claims and so on. There's a lot of other factors that go into it, and windscreen being one of them. Finally, and one of the most important at any point during, whether it be at the underwriting stage or at claim stage, is vehicle location. We're going to show you a brief video in a second of a Ferrari that was stolen recently, which unfortunately we're on for ourselves. And this is a vehicle that we were told was sort of part securely underground within a part of London, but it transpired that the vehicle was actually being kept on the road in another part of London, sort of semi-permanently, sort of 90-95% of the time. And essentially, this is something that isn't acceptable to us, but this is why it's so important for the clients to understand what they need, the information they need to be telling you, and therefore you to be telling us. So it's really, really important that we get that information, especially at underwriting stage.
Sorry, I nearly did the same as Sam. Stay on mute. So this is just a video of the Ferrari that kind of Sam's talking about. So theft has been a major issue in the prestige market for a long time. But it's just ever evolving. So what we're kind of going to go through just quickly here is just talking about theft, talk about security. So for a long time, I think everybody on this call will probably be very aware of the issues that have been with Range Rovers. So they're virtually uninsurable in London, parked on the road. Nobody will write them anymore, apparently. So that has been based on what they've known as a relay attack. So that is when thieves use a plate and they walk up to kind of your property using a device. They pick up the key from a keyless entry, then they relay it back to the vehicle where someone else stood, and you can essentially open the door and press start, stop, and drive away. So that has been a major headache in the prestige market for a long time now. So it's not something particularly new, and we've been working actively to combat that. Working with the manufacturers, working with the wider market, the insurance market, working with aftermarket installers. How can we kind of come up with solutions for our clients? Because like Sam touched on, we are a specialist motor insurer. We need to kind of come up with solutions. Because to help your customers, help your clients. So we're well versed in that side of it. But the thing to say is just kind of whenever you get ahead of it, the kind of criminals and the thieves are always looking to evolve their kind of tactics to get these vehicles. So relay's been this problem. It's not just kind of on Range Rovers. Any car with keyless entry can basically be relay attacked. So we have to be very careful when we're considering underwriting a risk, which is when we talked about kind of cars parked on the road in London. Sorry. It's too easy to walk up to a door and there's nothing to stop the client just driving that vehicle away. But what we've noticed very recently, and as per the video that you just saw, is a huge spike in Ferrari thefts. Now, historically, Ferrari's been an extremely safe brand. We haven't really considered theft elements of it too much. It's not something that we've ever really seen stolen, but in the last month or so, when we were talking to the Met, I think there was over 40 Ferraris stolen in the last month, and that figure is escalating quickly. Currently, it is predominantly based around the London area, but with any of these kind of theft trends, you notice they start off in London. That's where the kind of large proportion of these vehicles are, but ultimately it does then start spreading out to the other high net worth areas. So we are working to work out what this kind of theft issue is. So we need to look at it and how can we combat it. But yeah, so you are talking £400,000 Ferraris going missing. And if there's 40 of those at least have gone, you can see the kind of impact that's going to have. So, but what I would urge people, we are writing out to our brokers to advise about this, to contact your clients. If you've got any people that have Ferraris, and if your customers, just make them aware. They're not planned and targeted attacks. So we had an example of one that we lost the other day. Genuine claim, client lived out of London, went to visit a friend for one night, parked his Ferrari on the road outside, and it was taken that night. So it's not like they saw it, planned it, and took it. They're going around on mopeds looking for these vehicles, and they're accessing and taking just that. So what are we saying to our customers? You know, we want to make them aware, so just be very conscious. So this is the type of advice that we're giving currently. So secure location, even when the vehicle's in use. This is when we're seeing they're stolen. You know, people are putting them in secure car parks and they're still getting taken from there. So just really consider where you're parking your vehicle, not just when it's at your home, when it's most likely in the garage. Consider other types of security. Steering lock, it will put thieves off. You know, they'll move on to the next one. So kind of your old school things as a theft deterrent, you know, are also really prominent currently. Ensure your trackers are operational. We have seen these previously when a car is stolen and then you find they haven't renewed the subscription. So contact your clients, especially at renewal, make sure that they've got the tracker operational. Faraday pouch is more around the relay attack, so probably not focused at the Ferrari. So that is just to stop the keyless signal coming out for the key, pop it in a pouch, therefore they can't relay attack it. And look at aftermarket immobilization. So this uses a secondary system rather than the vehicle's own security system, but it means even if they access your vehicle via relay or punching the lock, they still can't start that car. They can't use electronic compromise or anything like that. So just be conscious, and it's a real issue in the market now. So we just want to make people aware so you can make your customers aware. Next slide. So just very quickly, because it's our E-Trade platform, I just wanted to touch on this because this is the quickest way to get to us as underwriters. So it's E-Trade, so you key the data into it and it basically comes right in front of myself or Sam or any of the other team that we'll quickly touch on. But it's speed to market. I think everyone knows that works in motor insurance, speed to market and getting that quote back to the insured quickly is very important, especially if they don't tell you until they're in the dealership that they're trying to pick up their 400 grand Ferrari. So it's that speed to access, and this is a quick way. So we really encourage people to use that. Quote be in front of us, we can have a conversation, we can provide you terms there and then. You can also access your documents from the E-Trade platform. So that's renewals, MTAs, and the new business quotations. But it's really important. We are ever evolving this. So it's in iteration 1, but we are going to keep evolving it and working with you guys as brokers to make sure it is as efficient and streamlined as possible. Next slide. And it's back to Sam just to talk about our faces.
I think it's important for you to know who you're dealing with. This gives you a snapshot of sort of the larger picture, if you wish. So Scott Tilbrook oversees sort of the whole bespoke PL and other sort of areas. Bespoke PL being where you know, Prestige sits. You've got Annie Walder, who's our product manager. Next to Annie, you've got Gary, a really awful photo of myself. You've got Mark and you've got Jim, who are the sort of senior and trading underwriters within the team. So underneath that, you've got our underwriting team, which is forever growing, and these across various products within Bespoke PL. So you've got Prestige and you've got Enthusiast, and that encompasses motorhome as well, and so on. And then you've also got our claims team at the bottom, and our lovely marketing manager Jenny, who's also on the call somewhere, at the bottom right. So this gives you a good snapshot as to who you're trading with on a daily. There are also some sort of contact numbers on the right, and I think they're at sort of different points across the slide, but this is how you can get hold of us and get hold of the team as well.
Thank you both. I'm not sure many brokers are aware that we don't just do insurance for vehicles, we actually provide breakdown cover as well. A specialist motor insurer you'd expect to be able to provide a specialist motor breakdown policy, giving our policyholders everything they'd expect from a recovery service, from vans, cars, and up to 44-ton horse boxes are available via our E-Trade portal. It is full cycle, does have full cycle capabilities, so you can incept, administer, and renew with no issues at all. Multi-vehicles with no upper limit. We offer varying levels of cover, ranging from roadside all the way up to total UK and Europe, with additional enhancements such as misfueling and loss of keys. It is standalone, so you don't have to have an ERS existing policy in force to be able to take advantage. And we also offer breakdown cover when you select comprehensive cover for a single minibus on our minibus product. So if you've not registered already for E-Trade, please let your regional development managers know and we'll get you guys set up. Next slide, please. We have an excellent team of marketing executives that support the sales team and the underwriting team across ERS. If you haven't done already, please register for our newsletter on ers.com. So anything that's happening in our world, you'll be the first to hear about it. Follow us on LinkedIn as well. We also have some PDFs on our marketing hub. So if you want to do a marketing campaign for various products, we've got some PDF marketing slides that we can, leaflets that we can share with you via ERS.com as well. We have a 4.6 rating on Trustpilot. So all our policyholders have experienced claims predominantly, saying really good things about our service. So I think that gives you additional comfort that we are a market of choice. So thank you ever so much for joining us. I am going to hand over now for some Q&A. So I have got a few already that have popped into the chat box, which I'm going to walk through. Mark, around the economic impact on the prestige market, are EVs more expensive to insure, and will we compete with the likes of Admiral? You're on mute.
Doing well with this. So it really does depend. Now, the more mainstream EVs become, then the kind of change, it's going to change. So that's constantly evolving question, really. If you look at Teslas when they came in, they were first to the market, really. There was only so many repair centres in the UK. Getting parts was really difficult. So ultimately, yes, they were a lot harder to insure and a lot more expensive, because any claim, you had delays shipping parts from California. Nobody knew how to really repair them other than the 2 or 3 Tesla centres. So that started out, yeah, they were challenging to insure. But as it becomes more mainstream, and it's going to have to, because they're changing the kind of regulation about diesel and petrol cars, it's going to kind of come back into kind of more aligned. Are we looking to compete with Admiral? The answer is no, quite frankly. But you guys as brokers know that anyway. You know, we are adding a service here. We're looking to give you something different, a tailored solution, a broker that's going to deal with the kind of claim for you, and we're offering something different to Admiral. So, you know, on the right cases, we'll be there or thereabouts if we need to on a collection. But ultimately, we value the service we're giving. We value the service that our brokers are giving. So we're not looking to compete with Admiral. And electric cars, you know, we just have to take a view on each one. If you get a Rimac, can't remember what it is now, but yeah, they're multi-million-pound electric cars. That will certainly cost a lot to insure, but your more standardised stuff isn't a problem.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Thank you. Sam, one for you around appetite. Can any car be added onto a collection?
It's a broad question. I mean, we can consider most vehicles. It is sort of as part of a personal collection. We can say, for example, you've got I don't know, a £120,000 Porsche 911. You can add on an 80 grand Porsche Macan. You might have a £40,000 Mini John Cooper Works. That's 3 vehicles. You might have the son and daughter have got an A class each. You've got 5 vehicles. The client then wants to add on, I don't know, a pickup truck, a Mitsubishi L200 at sort of 40 grand. You know, that's used for that's used for personal business use to go and price up jobs that are pre-arranged. Yeah, we can look to sort of cover that. They might have a van that they use just for personal use, you know, to take the dogs out or to go. I mean, look, this is a forever growing fleet that I'm talking about here, and you know, we can cater for things like this. When it comes to the more specialist, you know, vehicles, for example, if it's a minibus that's used for sort of a certain cover or certain travelling, that would be more suited to our minibus product, for example. We don't cover sort of road going we don't cover motorcycles for comprehensive cover, but we can cover those on a laid up basis. So it sort of varies, but I think what we try to do here, especially when it comes to sort of a high net worth family fleet or a high net worth individual, we try to sort of cater for all those sort of main everyday or sort of occasional use vehicles that are cars, if you wish, or trucks for sort of, you know, personal business use. We can look to expand that out, but we also bear in mind have all the other products within ERS that will enable you to sort of provide cover for certain vehicles.
Thank you, Sam. Another question just around claims, actually. Mark, I don't know whether you want to take this one. What impacts a high net worth motor claim, and what else other than location and windscreen?
I'll be brief as we've gone over. So what impacts a high net worth claim? You know, everything, the repair costs. Like Sam said, we're using genuine parts. We're making sure that we're going to approved repairers, you know, the Porsche approved repairer. So we want to ensure that our network is set up to do that. People are allowed to use the choice of their own repairers as well. So, you know, that's different from if you go with the direct market, where they tell you they want to use their network. They might not use approved parts. They might not be an approved specialist by the manufacturer. So you know, that's kind of key to recognise. Again, when we talk about Compete with Admiral, that is what we're different, and we've got proactive claims handlers that are on the phone explaining what we're doing. We'll actively try and work with the customer to get the best outcome and get that car back to how, you know, how it's supposed to be, because we're on for the warranty of that work as well. So there's numerous factors that will kind of play into that, location of where they are. But yeah, I think the kind of key call outs to take from that is, you know, you can use your own garage. We use approved parts. We use the kind of approved manufacturers, and it costs us more, but that is a high net worth and prestige claim way to do it. So again, when you're talking to people, if they're mentioning things like Admiral, that's a kind of key differentiator that I'd be looking to promote.
Fantastic. As we've run over, I think that's all we've got time for today. So if you haven't utilised ERS in Prestige up to now, hopefully that's given you an idea of what we're capable of. We are a market of choice for a lot of our partner brokers. So challenge us, and let's work together. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and thank you so much for joining.
Thanks all.
Bye bye.
Thank you.